Hi, my name is Rena Giudicelli, and I am making this video to discuss my personal philosophy of both healthcare and nursing. At first, when I read the description of this assignment, I found it to be challenging as I had never really sat down and thought about my personal philosophy of my profession. But then I started thinking about my personal why. Why did I choose to enter the field of nursing? And reflection on myself and what drives me professionally, I realized that my personal philosophy is reflected on my core beliefs. In my personal life, I strive to live my life full of respect and compassion for those around me, and I think that those are two major aspects of nursing as a profession. Having respect for ourselves, our coworkers, our patients, and their families is so important in providing care. And respect to me means that I see my patients beyond their current physical ailment. I was speaking to a coworker the other day, and something that he said really stuck with me. He said, "Doctors are trained to treat the disease, while nurses are trained to treat the whole person." And I think there's a lot of truth about that, and that makes me really proud to be a nurse. I think it's my job to, of course, understand disease and recognize proper treatment for it, but also to look beyond the physical disease and involve and recognize each individual patient as unique and create a treatment plan that is appropriate for them specifically. I think having respect for our patients and those involved in their care allows that to be possible. I know that when I have the ability to truly take the time with my patients and get to know them, I am able to be a much more effective nurse. I'm able to identify personal barriers that they might be experiencing, as well as develop a trusting relationship with them so that they're more likely to truly listen and understand what I try and teach them. Another important component to nursing that stems from respect is autonomy. Autonomy is respecting an individual enough to understand that they have a fundamental right to make their own choices, regardless of how I might feel about that choice. As we discussed in our first discussion board posting, nurses are all too familiar with the necessity of that. Every day in our personal and professional life, we encounter people who make decisions we don't agree with. We care after people who don't care for themselves, and that's not always an easy thing to repeatedly do. But respect means doing so anyway, and not letting that influence the care you deliver in a negative way. It certainly isn't our place to judge the people around us. There's always a story behind every patient and why they're making the choices that they are. It's only through continually to strive to treat them well and full of respect that we fulfill our duties as a nurse. Of course, a caveat to that is that we must also respect ourselves. I know that unfortunately I have a lot of experience with patients and or their families getting upset, being verbally or physically abusive to myself and my coworkers, and that's also not okay. What I tell myself in those situations is to remind myself that they're likely experiencing the worst time of their life. Hospitals are not a fun place, and many times we are seeing people at their very worst. We can't take things personally, and we have to make ourselves a priority, take care of ourselves mentally, emotionally, and physically. But I do think that that is when respect and compassion goes the farthest. And that's when it's the hardest to give out. I think what differentiates a good nurse from a great nurse is compassion. It's easy to go through the motions of treating patients, but it's when you allow yourself to care for the individual under your care that you deliver exceptional care. I know that if I were the one in that bed receiving care, that I would want the person taking care of me to be compassionate and to go the extra mile. Another cornerstone to nursing is the importance of continually striving to learn new things. We live in an ever-changing field full of new advancements, new discoveries, new technology, new policies, and I personally love that about healthcare. We owe it to ourselves and to our patients to continually strive to deliver the most up-to-date and evidence-based care. And that requires accepting that we will spend our careers constantly learning. We will never know it all, and constantly seeking the best is important. In conclusion, I think that being able to sit down and really reflect on my personal philosophy of nursing has been surprisingly insightful. Being able to recognize and be in touch with my personal why, what drives me at work every single day, is a great reminder and a motivator to keep doing my best at work and I feel fortunate to work in a profession where doing my best at work truly does make an impact and a difference to my patients. And there's something really, really empowering about that. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this video.